One of the many things that made Evan Mobley such an exciting prospect entering the 2020 NBA draft were the different developmental paths he had laid out in front of him. A true 7-footer with nimble feet and impeccable reflexes on the defensive end to go with strong shooting mechanics on his jump shot coming out of college, the comparison to names like Anthony Davis and Kevin Garnett were inevitable. Mobley might already be daring to be the youngest defensive player of the year in league history, but he has averaged just 15 and 16 points per game in his first 2 seasons with the Cavs. Playing as the third option in Cleveland's offense, combined with his own limitations outside of the paint, Evan Mobley is a step or two behind his counterparts when it comes to getting buckets. Yet, I can't help but get excited by the one aspect of his development that has gone mostly overlooked, his playmaking, and drawing more apt comparisons to names like Bam Adebayo or Draymond Green, two of the best and most versatile defenders in NBA history who never made much of a leap in the scoring department, but could impact the game offensively through their passing. Bam Adebayo in particular is an interesting comparison to draw, now that Mobley will be playing alongside Max Strus, who has experience running dribble handoffs and split actions with Bam as the ball handler. I think we are going to see more of Bam show itself in Mobley this season, and I want to take some time to look at Mobley's progression as a playmaker, find out what makes him a potentially special passer, where he needs to improve, and how the arrival of Max Strus can help get Evan Mobley where he needs to go. Before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting subscribe and stick around for more content. I will be dropping breakdown videos throughout the season, and new podcast episodes should be coming weekly in the near future, and please follow me on Twitter to keep up with all of my work. One of the first things that you notice when watching Evan Mobley is his fluidity for a 7-footer. He isn't always the most graceful ball handler, but there is a massive difference between watching how someone like Andre Drummond rampages across the floor like a bull in a china shop versus Evan's poised, elegant strides down the court. Mobley's body control and feel for the game are why he is such a dominant defensive player, turning his hips on the perimeter and timing contests in the paint to perfection. But as Mobley gains more NBA experience, that knack for reading the floor should begin to translate to the offensive side of the ball, where we have already seen Mobley pick apart defenses with his read and react plays as a pick and roll man. Mobley's hyper-quick decisions when catching on the roll have made him one of the better playmaking bigs in the NBA. Even if his assist numbers aren't anything special, Mobley routinely sets his teammates up for easy scoring opportunities. Mobley loves to throw this alley-oop to Jarrett Allen. It's an automatic read for Mobley whenever a help defender steps up to stop him on the roll. And when an additional defender slides over to take away the lob to Allen, Mobley is able to instantly find his man in the corner. But while most of Mobley's passes to the corner went to non-shooters like Isaac Okoro and Lamar Stevens last season, Mobley will now have the benefit of finding Max Strus, who made the third most corner threes in the NBA on a blistering 45% shooting clip with the Miami Heat. I suspect this change alone will cause Mobley's assist numbers to go up, as not only will he be kicking to a more prolific shooter, but the threat of Max Strus spotting up from the corner should create more openings for Mobley to lob to his frontcourt partner. Take this play where Donovan Mitchell is the one spaced out in the corner. Mobley monitors the defense and realizes Kevin Porter Jr. is blocking the pass to Allen. So Mobley probes with a pass fake and gets KPJ to sprint out to the potential shooter. With Allen now free, Mobley takes one power dribble to pull Sengun out of the paint and then finally tosses the lob to Allen. Had this been a non-shooter in the corner, Houston's defense might have sat on Allen's lob attempt, but instead, Mobley's probing leads to a wide open dunk. This is operating one step ahead of the defense, and can we just take a second to recognize that Mobley is one of only a few 7-footers who can handle the ball in a pick and roll. The Cavs didn't give Mobley many reps like this last season, but his overall touches and passes have steadily been trending upwards as his career goes on. And again, the addition of Strus should allow these numbers to increase even more. The paint was fairly crowded last season for Cleveland, and Mobley isn't a strong enough ball handler to navigate these crowds with a live dribble. Watch how Okoro's defender sneaks all the way from the opposite corner to steal the ball from Mobley on this play. I don't think teams will be as willing to pack the paint like this with Strus on the floor instead, and I hope this means we can see more of Mobley setting up shop on the elbow, because Mobley has shown the potential to one day be an offensive hub from this location. He has a knack for finding cutters with a variety of deliveries. Mobley can throw a simple bounce pass to a teammate going backdoor, but he has also zipped some impressive pocket passes to cutting teammates.
Well, because sometimes you don't really know what you have until you see them with the lights on.
32-29, and the lane is good. The next
4 in the third. I'm not sure it's that simple.
Well, both of you always talked about it depends on the player. Garland backdoor on a gorgeous feed from Mobley, and just like that, it's a 6-point game.
Mobley has the patience here to reject a dribble handoff and then squeeze a pass to Okoro on the wraparound. On this play, Mobley uses a simple but effective ball fake to get Trae Young jumping, opening up a backdoor layup for Lamar Stevens. But most impressively, Mobley's stature at 7 feet tall allows him to make passes that other players simply can't. He throws this pass downwards towards Jarrett Allen, almost like a teardrop that falls straight into Allen's lap for an easy bucket. Mobley's height benefits him when reading the floor. Cutters from the corner are often rewarded by Mobley's vision. He catches, turns, and finds Lamar Stevens all in one motion on this play. And Mobley's long arms allow him to find angles on the baseline that just aren't possible for shorter players. Mobley is fully extended on this pass to Okoro, and it's the only way a pass was going to fit in this narrow gap. If Mobley was a better ball handler, we would see him do more stuff like this. Dispatching his defender with a ball fake before getting into the paint and one-handing a pass over to Allen for the dunk. But unfortunately, handling the ball is one area that is still holding Mobley back from being an elite playmaker. His dribble is too loose and he gets his pocket picked too easily. Mobley struggles to keep his dribble alive without turning the ball over, and this can put him in an awkward position with nowhere to pass the ball. And his frame is still too thin for Mobley to get to his spots consistently. He's easily thrown off balance and often loses the ball entirely when bumped harder than expected. Or at times, Mobley is too concerned with bracing himself for impact that he loses the ball without really taking much of a hit from his defender. This overthinking really plagued him throughout the year and especially during the playoffs, where Mobley's brain seemingly shut off every time he had his usual opportunity to lob to Allen.
Mobley throws it up off the backboard, trying to lob to
Mobley had a tendency to rush plays and make his move before fully catching the ball, and resulting in a handful of awkward traveling violations.
Mitchell drives, kicks it out in the corner to Mobley. Mobley across the lane. Point lead. Mark chasing Mitchell. There's Garland. Back to Mobley. Upset Mobley and he traveled.
At his height, it might be difficult for Mobley to really tighten up his handle, and as of now, it's one of the biggest things still holding him back. So where does Max Strus fall into this equation? It's time we look at Bam Adebayo's role in Miami and the chemistry he had built with players like Strus. Bam has become a centerpiece of Miami's offense, almost entirely due to his strengths as a passer. Bam is constantly running dribble handoff actions above the break, and Max Strus was one of his favorite targets. The Miami Heat didn't generate many open three-pointers, ranking near the bottom of the league in both shot quality and three-point shooting talent, whereas Cleveland ranked fairly in both categories, in large part due to Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland's ability to shoot and collapse the defense. For Miami, running Strus around Bam wasn't just an avenue for freeing a volume shooter, but it also was a solution to opening the floor without really having much elite dribble penetration. Strus made a killing off these dribble handoffs and firing from above the break, blowing Cleveland's supporting cast out of the water in makes from this zone, despite the drastic difference in openness we saw in the previous graphic. And Strus is great at moving without the ball, again ranking ahead of Cleveland's supporting cast by a wide margin. Strus was in the 96th percentile as a cutter, using his threat as a shooter to pounce on cutting lanes whenever they became available.
Bam from a cutting Strus. Got it, plus a foul. Oh, what a nice delivery by Bam Adebayo.
On this play, Stephen Curry and Andrew Wiggins are communicating a switch on the screen, with Wiggins preparing to jump above and stop Strus from flaring for a three-point attempt. But Strus takes this opportunity to cut right between them for a dunk. Here we see another play with Curry chasing Strus over screens. And again, Strus takes advantage of this by finding his way into the paint. At this point, I'm feeling sorry for the Dubs, as Strus times this cut perfectly between the switch and finishes an and one in the paint.
Cutting Strus and the foul. Wiggins reaching in and Max Strus having a...
And keep in mind that all of this is working only because Strus is a threat to shoot the ball. These plays are much harder for a team to defend when all players involved are three-point shooting threats. And don't miss that Bam Adebayo is the one operating as a hub on all of these assists. In contrast, the Cavaliers would rarely have more than one shooter involved in any off-ball actions last season. Playing with three guards who scare the defense into chasing them around the perimeter should open up more opportunities for Evan Mobley. Mobley now has three dynamic scoring threats he can play with, and I'm excited to see how much of Bam Adebayo will rub off on Evan Mobley now that he can learn a thing or two playing alongside Max Strus. To wrap this all up, Mobley needs to improve his handle, gain more NBA experience, and add some weight before he is able to reach his ceiling. But the potential he has shown as a playmaker should continue to glimmer under the surface and maybe even break free this season now that he is playing with more offensive weapons around him. And even if a 3-level scoring leap is not in the cards for Mobley, another step forward as a playmaker would make him a legitimately great all-around player.
Nice. Oh, nice. Pass to Allen for Mobley. Now, let me tell you, that was beautiful.
That's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And as always, go Cavs.